Hi everyone, Joe Connery with Hartford Retirement Planners. We want to give you an update on where things are in the office and in the market and beyond. Today we're going to talk about reviews. We're going to talk about a market update. We're going to talk about statements and some changes that have happened recently. We're also going to finish with talking about our new podcast that we've been recording. So let's get right into it. Reviews. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're already into fall. And this is a time of year coming out of summer where people have vacations and things like that, where it's a good time to do business and think about more responsible things. So a lot of that is going through, putting things on the table, come into our new office at 510 South Main Street, or we could do Zoom or whatever you're used to. Right now, Lori from our office is reaching out, contacting folks to try to schedule these reviews, but please don't wait for us. If you're ready to get together and review things, send us an email and we'll coordinate a time and schedule that works for you. We want to make sure that you are on track for your financial goals. Reviews are a very important part of that, making sure that we're in good shape and we continue to remain that way. All right, now I know a lot of attention is being paid to the current market turbulence. So I want to talk real quick, high level, and then we'll get into some of the details about what we see in the markets and challenging stocks in this current time. So I've been doing this for quite a while, over 15 years. I think I've been in the industry close to 20. I've been published author. I was Investment News 40 Under 40. I've been in the Wall Street Journal, Kiplinger, U.S. News and World Report, and blah, blah, blah. I don't say this to try to inflate my ego. I just say this because I've been around the block a time or two and I've seen several different difficult markets. While each of one of those are for different reasons, the outcome has always been the same: recovery and return back to growth. Now, compliance makes me say I can't guarantee that stuff, but I am confident that that is what is ahead of us. Put in other terms, if you've watched other videos of mine, you know that I'm one for cheesy analogies, and this might be one of the cheesier ones that I can mention. If you've ever had a high school sweetheart and you've broken up, in the moment, it seems like the world is ending, right? That the world's falling apart, nothing's ever going to get better. But you stretch out enough time, maybe a couple of years, 5, 10, or even longer, it becomes more of a distant memory. It isn't as big a deal as we think it is in the moment that our heart's getting broken. All right? The market and minor turbulence, like what we're experiencing, is a lot like the high school breakup. In the moment, it seems very scary, and it's always for a scary reason. But you stretch it out over enough time, then it becomes and fades in the background. You kind of forget, why we were nervous in the first place in the third and fourth quarter of 2023. So that's my cheesy high-level view of the markets. Let's get into some of the details of what's going on. Let's talk about the challenges first, and then we'll talk about some of the bright spots we see in the economy. Some of the challenges that we're facing right now are higher interest rates. Everybody's seeing it, and it's got ripple effects throughout the entire economy. We had runaway inflation, and that is why Jerome Powell and the Fed were hiking interest rates, and we're really seeing that hit home today. If you have a home equity line of credit, maybe you're paying 3-4% interest on those. Now you're up to 8, 9, maybe 10% or more, right? And that's taking money out of your monthly budget that could be spending elsewhere. If you're looking for a home, then you also know that that's at the mortgage 30-year rate, 15-year rate. They're all up. I think they're at 23, 24-year highs for mortgage rates. We also have a difficult challenge that the housing market has been basically frozen, which is our second challenge. Housing market is a huge part of the economy, and when you have a lack of supply, because everybody's holding on to those 2-3% interest rates and they're never moving, you have a lack of supply. Lack of supply leads to higher prices. You've also got higher interest rates. Housing is becoming less and less affordable for those looking to enter or upgrade in that space. The third thing, and what might be the scariest thing for a lot of people in recent headline history, is the government shutdown. So this looming government shutdown, whether you're a MSNBC watcher or a Fox News watcher, you can debate over what the reasons are, but it's scary for any investor, or at least it could be. Now, since 1976, we've had 20 government shutdowns. It might surprise you to know that over the average of those 20 shutdowns, the market was up 0.4%. Now, don't sit there and think, well, Joe's telling me that the market's going to be up 0.5% through this government shutdown. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that on average, the market doesn't tank into oblivion because we have a government shutdown. And as much as we wouldn't like it to be a regular thing, it happens, more frequent than every less than 2.5 years. So it's nothing we haven't seen a lot before. And we'll get through it just like we have every other time before. But in the meantime, there's going to be a little bit of turbulence as we work our way through this current government cycle. All right, enough about the bad. Let's talk about some of the bright spots in the economy. Just today, there was a jobs number that came out that the economy's added way more jobs than was anticipated by most economists. That's a good thing. We've got a very strong labor market. The good thing about a strong labor market is people have money that they're making and they can spend it. Some of it's going to higher interest rates, but that won't be around forever. A strong job market will help lead an economic recovery and continued growth. Another bright spot is inflation is dropping. Now, that is why interest rates are up, is to combat this runaway inflation. I like to describe the inflation environment as the elevator up, and it's taking the escalator down. So it's taking a little bit more time, but it is coming down. It is working. We just need to be patient, which I know is difficult. I'm not a very patient person, but it's just the way of the world these days. The last one, and I wouldn't put too much stock into this stat, pun intended, but the fourth quarter of the stock market is historically the strongest. So on average, the S&P 500 gains over 4% in the fourth quarter. Take it with a grain of salt. A lot of people are pessimistic right now, and I get that, but the fourth quarter is usually a strong one. Averages can be a little misleading because you've got really bad ones and you've got really good ones. But historically, this is a very strong time of the year for stock markets, so it's not inconceivable to think that we'll get some recovery at some point in the not too distant future. So to summarize all of the market, long-term investors who stay the course have always been rewarded. I can't guarantee that, right? Because I'm not allowed to, but strong willed investors who don't change portfolios every time the wind changes a different direction. You're long-term, you stick to the plan, almost always works for investors. So just keep that in mind. All right, a little housekeeping update. We'll talk about statements. So LPL, the last couple of months, has switched statements over to a quarterly mailing cycle. Up until then, everybody was used to getting monthly statements if you're getting LPL paper statements. So what we are doing is proactively going into the system, and we have to manually update all of these statements to go back to a monthly mailing cycle. So it's what you were used to. There's been a little bit of a hiccup. The challenge that we had in Hartford Retirement Planners is LPL did not give us the option in order to forego quarterly. They defaulted everybody that way, and then we have to go back. It's a very manual process, so please be patient with us. If you haven't gotten a statement recently, of course, they're available online. We can get you access online. We can send you a statement. We can mail you a statement. Whatever you need, we're here for you. But we are going through and making sure that we get those back to monthly for everybody. Lastly, if you've been following along with any of our social media, remember we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, and we also are on YouTube. We now have a podcast, Get the Guac. So if you haven't heard my guacamole story, you're probably one of the few, but basically, I'll spare you the long version. It's about finding balance in our financial lives, making sure that we're not just saving for the future, but we're enjoying what we have today as well. Life is all about balance, right? It's okay to eat that cake once in a while. It's not going to kill you. So get the guac. We have to allow ourselves to get the guac once in a while, and this podcast is going to help people hopefully find that balance. We would like some feedback, so let us know what topics you'd like to cover. What we plan on doing is taking subject matter experts and things that are relevant to financial planning and retirees, and we want to illuminate more information on that topic. I'll give you one or two examples. One is assisted living facilities. What does the deposit work? Do you get it back? How much is the cost? Can they kick you out? We're going to bring in someone from an assisted living facility to go through all those details in a future episode. Healthcare and retirement. It is confusing. It could be scary. Is it $1 gazillion or just half $1 gazillion, right? We're going to bring someone in to talk about healthcare and retirement, the different options and the different costs. If you can think of any other topics that you'd like, send us an email or leave a comment below. We would love to hear different ideas for what we can cover. We are here to provide value to you and make sure that we are covering all the topics important to you as you plan your finances. Make sure that we set your reviews. Let us know. We'll reach out as well. We want to get together. We want to review things. The sky is not falling. Sunny days are ahead for us. Let us know what questions you have, any concerns you have. As I mentioned many times, we are here to help you as best we can. And as always, thank you for watching.